what's wrong with Nikola Jokic? I mean, what we're seeing is like unprecedented. I think that like when I'm watching Joker, he just doesn't even look like the same player. And for me, that's confusing because Ryan, I don't know about you, but I thought that we would see a continuation of what we saw last year, like a 24 and a half, 9, point 8 assists, 12 rebounds, all that stuff. But he is like gone psycho. Ryan, like, what is your take on how Joker is playing right now?
Well, I'm calling this Joker mode, dude, because there's only one person in the world, only one person in NBA history that can get into this place right here, which is dominating every aspect of the game physically and mentally. There are no players that do it like this, and no players that do it at his size. That 30, 14, and 8 that you're talking about, that is unprecedented production. It's unprecedented levels. He is so far clear in the MVP conversation, in the best player in the world conversation. And he just really turned it up when Jamal Murray went down. It's like he understood exactly what the team needed from him, and he just found new ways to become the best player he could be. That's what he does. He just understands what the team needs and he provides it every single time.
Do you know that right now, again, this is all just team involved stuff, that Joker has a, per NBA.com, has a plus 15.2 net rating, and that Joker has a 121 offensive rating, 121.4, with a 106.2 defensive rating when he's been on the court this year.
We were just talking like no, we were just talking about this about like just before we hopped on. 90 rating on the half court defense. Like the way that he is impacting the game on both ends of the floor, a lot of the offense is going to get discussed with him. And
Right.
people still talk about him as a one-way player for some reason. Those are the uninformed folks. Those are the people that just are hating for haters' sake. He is doing it on both ends of the floor, is now having his best defensive season, like at least at the beginning here. He has gotten off to such a great start. And the Nuggets don't win these games unless he's impacting the game in so many ways defensively. He is tremendous. And I can't get enough of it, man. Like what he does is unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Did you see what Jalen Pickett? Of course, you saw what Jalen Pickett had to say
Sure.
about Joker. He talked about the steals, like he controls every part of the game. He's calling out every offensive set the other team is getting into. He's quarterbacking. And then on top of that, he's setting up the offense on the other end. He has total control over the NBA game right now. So I don't know, Ryan. I think right now, I think the Nuggets are on their 2015-16 Warriors bag. But Joker has almost got to the place where basketball is obviously fun, but he is just like, this is the thing. Joker's so good that he's literally trolling. Like he's throwing random passes in the clutch, by the way, that he knows he doesn't need to throw. But it's just why not? What are you going to do about it if you do go score and I have to go score? Like, what are you going to do about it? Or even like his shooting, he's just chucking threes, and it's like to the point where he's upset that he's not making three-pointers, and so he's going to, until he starts making them, keep throwing them up. 8, 6, 7 three-point attempts, making 1 or 2 shots, and he's like, all right, bet. His three-point shot is plummeting in percentage, but he's still shooting it because I think for him, there's just a lane that he's gotten to that is just like, I don't know, bro. He's just playing incredible.
Did you see the clip of him shooting and warming up with three-pointers and then just chucking in a random left-handed three-pointer and swishing that too? Like
I did.
A guy with that level of touch and that level of poise and just the willingness and the ability and the creativity to do some of the things that he does. I'm going to start calling him Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's body because I think that there is a comparison made there. Like he's not like that tall, obviously, but he is that, especially in the modern NBA, he is that dominant in so many different ways, and it has been really cool to see. He is far and away the MVP for me, and I know that we should probably talk about some other guys and whether they could have some sort of challenge to him. I guess like what is it going to take for him to not win the MVP? I think is a very fair question.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think the NBA sometimes struggles with eras. But I think this is the most unwilling I think I've seen the league been to. This is a player's era. Like Jordan, Bron, it was like obvious. But I think Jokic, this is going to be his 4th straight top 2 MVP finish, and arguably should be his 4th straight number 1 MVP finish, where he's led the league across the board. You just don't get that. Like, that just doesn't happen. So, I mean, even Braun at times had a down year where he went from like all-time great to like all NBA, then he would go right back up again. But Jokic is just currently riding this thing where it's like he's just slowly but surely moving up this arc, and it's like already a all-time great 2020-21. Now it's like 2023-24. It's like we've never seen this before. Remember, his first season, no player had ever averaged, except for him and Russell Westbrook, 26, 10, and 8 in one season. The next year, no player had ever averaged 27, 14, and 8, or 27, 13, and 7 and 0.9. That never been done. Last year, 25, 12, and 9 and 9.8. We haven't seen that to that degree outside of Russ. And then not the efficiency. 20 points on 70% true shooting. Now it's like 30, 13, and 8 on a 65 level true shooting. It's just unprecedented, bro. So, yeah, we've just reached a different point, man. This is a cataclysmic point in NBA history where everything now is kind of morphing around this guy that's getting talked about like he's LeBron James by other announcers. Like, you can't do anything about it. You just have to hope. Literally, Ryan, the game plan of other players. This is with LeBron and AD. This is with Kawhi and PG. This is with the Houston Rockets the other day. This is with the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is with, Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid. Win the minutes he's not on the court. That's the game plan. How do we load up on the bench? That way we can mitigate what he's doing when the starters are out there. Again, bro, it's just another level right now.
It's like the amount of times I hear pray when it comes to the actual minutes that Jokic is on the floor for the opposing teams is really funny. And I do firmly agree that a lot of teams are kind of giving up on the concept of we're going to win these minutes with him, because you're just not, because that's just not how it works with him. When he's out there, you know you're in a box. You know that there's only a certain amount of time that you're going to be able to take advantage of him not being out there. And he's so well conditioned now that he can play 40 minutes when he has to. He can play 42 minutes. He can play 45 minutes. It just doesn't matter. The Nuggets know that they can go to him at these extended places. They know that when they have to call on him to hold an even higher level of usage and an even higher level of responsibility, he can do that too. We've seen that without Jamal Murray here over the course of these last few games where, like you and I were talking about before this, he's holding a high usage rate, higher than he's ever had. And he's just handling it like a champion, knowing what he has to do and just getting the job done anyway.
34.5, 16 and 9 assists since Jamal Murray went down. 9 free throws a game. Yeah, he just is like, all right, if I got to go into this mode for a little bit, then fine. Because I think he knows when Jamal comes back, because Jamal had streaks last year. We averaged 30 points a game for, several games in a row, and 25, 5-5 for these crazy runs. Michael Porter Jr., great. And that's the thing, bro. Like, they're going to play these teams coming up on the road, and even in these opposing buildings, it's just like, it's like King Kong's coming. And you know what's going to happen. You know what he's going to do. Just try to mitigate the damage.
What do you think it's going to take for him to not win MVP at this point? Because I think, or maybe what is it going to take for one of these other players to kind of exceed what he's doing? Or is it going to just take a regression to the mean for Jokic in a lot of ways?
Like, are we talking on the court?
Yeah, on the court.
Okay, because on the court last year, there wasn't really an argument. This year, I think Embiid made real improvements. I think the funny thing is, I think he's going to finish top 2 in the MVP race again, the way it's like kind of sounding so far. So I just think it's crazy. 4 straight years of center dominating like this. I think that for him, I don't know if there's a basketball reason, because this is the thing. This is what I asked you. Who's going to have a basketball argument that's going to control the game like Joker is? Now, Tatum, as good of a scorer. His best asset is scoring. He's not a better scorer, not a better playmaker, not a better rebounder, a better wing defender. Sure, no problem. Giannis right now, it's like they're struggling. They're not winning his minutes. They have all these things they're struggling with. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, maybe if they stay at like that 2 level, and then his numbers, his shooting picks up, and he's just able to carry it on out. But I don't think they're going to finish at 2. So I
I
think
don't
that's
either.
where it comes down to, you know.
I'm with you on that. I think that there are some things that some of these other guys can do, but Joel Embiid kind of his own little mini leap here with his playmaking, kind of taken away from the fact that Tyrese Maxey has just been nearly a borderline MVP candidate himself with the way that he's
Right.
played. He's been
Right.
awesome. Tyrese Halliburton's another name that I'm going to throw out
Yeah,
there
he's
as,
been
hey,
great.
a dynamic offensive leader and somebody who can really drive winning in a lot of different ways. Luca is somebody who I would probably mention.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, like he has had a leap himself, but he's just not in that same tier. He's not in that same
Right.
class in a lot of ways as the all-around impact and the all-around responsibility of a player like Jokic. He's just
Yeah.
doing everything possible to affect the game and to win it. And there's been nobody who has done it better than Jokic over the course of these past 5 years or so. This is
Yeah.
his league. This is his time. And maybe this is his LeBron stretch where LeBron wins the MVP
Right.
in 2009, 2010, takes a break in 2011 for a weird
Yeah.
circumstance, and then wins it in 2012, 2013. So maybe
Right.
we're kind of on that track with Jokic as well.
Well, I just don't see the argument against it. You know, setting the BPM again, PER again, second all-time win share 48 through 48 for the first 11 games of the year. And again, like, who's going to stop him? I think that's what it goes down to. It's like, even if, and you saw the Clippers do this when they tried to double them. It's like, all right, cool. Like, put the ball up, and it's like, you're done. You're cooked. And the thing is, Jason Tatum did a great video the other day talking about the game, and he just talked about they ran that wedge play for 7 straight possessions, and they got 15 points out of it. Well, that's just because what are you going to do about it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to try to stop him as a scorer, well, that's the point. Then KCP's at the top of the key, Porter's in the corner somewhere, Reggie, AG are cutting. Now you have to literally scramble. You have to pre-scramble the best playmaker in basketball just because you're afraid of what he can do with a passer. Oh, and then he gets to a 70-foot conversion rate from the 3 to 6 foot area, and you're done.
It's unbelievable. He's the best floater maker in the NBA. He is the best kind of passer in the schedule or in the frame of handling double teams and being able to see above the defense, manipulate the defense into ways where it just isn't going to matter what they do. So I'm with you, man. I think that he is quite clearly in a tier of his own right now, and it's on
Yeah.
the burden of somebody else, or maybe if Jokic kind of gets tired and Denver kind of gets into a rut where people then might start asking those questions. But through this early portion of the season, there is no question in my mind that Jokic is the guy, that Jokic is the
Right.
MVP.
Right. Yeah, man. I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man. And the rest of this year, bro, I mean, it's just gonna be high level, insane basketball. So I say this all the time. I think people should just enjoy it. You just enjoy LeBron at his apex, just enjoy Jordan. You saw Kareem, Magic, Bird, just enjoy it. Like, you don't see this, you know, and this is the first of its kind. And it's gonna be one of one. Like, they're gonna be impersonators. Sabonis is a great player. Alperen Sengun's a great player, but at the end of the day, you're just never gonna see this again.
We will see what happens, but here's Swipa. I'm Ryan. Thank you so much for tuning in to this YouTube video, everybody. Make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Would appreciate that oh so much. Thank you, guys.